Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for everyone who's watching or listening in, thank you for being here and thank you for coming back every single week because this is our second episode for 2023, which, holy shit. It's still, I know we did episode last week. That was the first episode of 2023, but I'm just I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that we're in 2023. I had to write the date down the other day, and I wrote 2022. I'm like, shit, 2023. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like it's just gobsmacked that we're already here, and there is so much news coming in, so many more announcements of everything that's coming ahead for this year, and it's just like I'm so excited, and I have some so exciting news for you as well to announce if you haven't been posting on us on social media. So, for this particular episode, as you always know, we look into the news and we go into reviews. Which this particular episode, we're going to be reviewing the massive the massive weight of, the unbearable weight of massive talent with Nicolas Cage for two reasons, which I'll get into. Sorry, it's such a long title. I was like trying to. I read it twice. So I was like, I won't make this up, and I still did. So here we are. But guys, as you always know, we are currently streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and our episodes come out every Tuesday morning. So definitely subscribe, tune in, so you don't miss a single beat. And the announcement I just mentioned that I want to get into was we have just launched our brand new website. If you haven't gone and checked it out, please do. Over this Christmas break, I was looking over our website and I thought, when I first started the podcast, because we obviously go through Anchor, and Anchor offers this free website you can go to, which is WordPress, and which I made it. It is not the easiest thing to make a website on, which is WordPress. I was like, it took me probably a day or two just to try and, I don't know. I think I'm kind of tech savvy, but this was just a little bit difficult to try and set up. So I did, and that was back in 2021, and I haven't looked at it since, just for analytics, and that's all. And in the past week, I was looking at it, I thought, we've done so much on our Instagram, we've done so much with our streaming, our logos, and I thought, now I've got to work on this. So what I started doing was I was working on it. I was fiddling around with a few things, and then I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. I need to look for somewhere. I need to look at something else. And I got a suggestion for Podpage, which I had to look at, and it looked amazing. Everything, trust me, I highly recommend you get onto it. It's called Podpage for any podcaster that wants to check it out. It is everything a podcaster needs to set up. It was so easy to set up, so easy to connect everything and make it streamlined as possible. Because I had a friend tell me that, you got to keep in mind your website is going to be the very first things that people look at. So I was looking going, well, I really need to fix I really need to fix this. So that's why. And so I really hope that you've all had a look at it. Definitely give me feedback on what you think, what you don't like, what is easy. So what this website makes it easy for is that you can listen to us on the website. You can watch us, all listen to us, all video, all episodes are on there as well. That can direct you to our Twitter, our Instagram, our TikTok, our IMDb, as well as it will contain blogs about the episodes as well as they come out. So everything, technology wise, you're going to want everything streamlined. So I've tried to make it as streamlined as possible. And our store is on there as well, which you can jump onto. Another thing that I've been working on this past week is the store. So one of my New Year's resolutions was to get back into the gym. You're probably saying, "Oh, Lee, you don't need to go to the gym. You look pretty right." I'm like, yeah, no, it's that's why you can only see this half of me if you're watching. if you're watching. So used to go to the gym before COVID happened. I used to go very regularly, and then when COVID hit, I moved house. It was out from a regular gym, so I quit. I was like, oh look, there's no point going back. And then when we got out of lockdown in our state, we could go out. Gyms got flooded like it was January every single week. So I still put on the back burner. I was like, nah, I'll come to that later. And then in the past week, I was talking to my partner, Maddie, and I thought, you know what? No. New year, not new year, new me, new year, new meme. No, but I thought, you know what? No, I've got no more excuses. Year moves, it's cycle around everybody. Everything's been open for a while. So let's get into it. So I've joined the gym at the same time. In this past week, it was a big week for the past. Got a few things done. So when I also go to the gym, that's when at the same time I added more things onto our merch store. So now you can get activewear with our logo on it, and we also have a long sleeve version, which got the inspiration from Michael from Star Wars. If you don't know who he is, you need to go to his website, his store, and his podcast right now, and then come back to us. But I got the inspiration for him for getting a long sleeves t-shirt. So props to him, and I've added that to store. So we've got 4 new things in our store. So we have there's about 15 options on there. If you want beanies, if you want t-shirts, jumpers, tank tops, activewear, shorts, which I'm looking forward to, and I can't wait to see how they come out. But please go check that out and go check our website. And please, let us know what you would like to see in the merch store and what would you like to see on our website. Is there something missing or something that we can add? So definitely give us that feedback. But without further ado, let's dive into the news. So when we get in the news, we're going to keep in mind one thing, guys. In 1 week, so on the 15th of January, definitely don't forget to tune into The Last of Us, the HBO Max TV series. First episode will be dropping. When I was writing out all the notes for this particular episode, I was like, oh, that's right. The Last of Us is a week away. Shit. So, yes, don't forget, Sunday for us in Australia, Sunday, 15th of January, it will be dropping on Binge for us. Definitely, I think it's Binge for us. Oh, that's good shit. Some Jameson and Coke. Definitely will be dropping on Binge. But yeah, 1 more week. I know everyone's excited. Now, another thing that happened this past week, which I do feel really sad, which is sad and good at the same time. Well, mainly sad. So, unfortunately, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, was in a very terrible snowplow accident, which our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and pets. Unfortunately, he did post a photo on his Instagram page. He is doing well. Apparently, he was in a critical position, but now he is all right and he is on the mend. Not too many details on what happened on the accident. They're a bit blurry depending on which news platform you go on to. But something happened with his snowplow and it all went terribly wrong. And I do feel bad for him because January the 7th was his birthday. So happy birthday to Jeremy Renner. Hope you are on the mend and keep feeling better. There's plenty more Hawkeye that we need to see in the MCU. And so he will be now 52 years old, but so close to your birthday, and that happened. So it's good to see he's on the mend. All thoughts go out to him. So hopefully that he will all well. Didn't actually know this, but he also shares the same birthday with Nicolas Cage. So Nic Cage is turning, I think he turned 59. God, man, he's nearly 60, that guy. But yeah, here's a little trivia fact. He shares the same birthday with Jeremy Renner as Nicolas Cage. So there's your tidbit for today. But still speaking about Marvel though, for any Black Panther fans, Black Panther 2 will be streaming on Disney Plus on the 20th of this month. It will be coming to Disney Plus. So for anyone who has not seen Black Panther Forever, which if you haven't, I don't understand why. And that's really that's really gobsmacked. I don't know how you've not watched it, but it will be Disney Plus, and I know I will be definitely tuning in to go rewatch it again because it's such a gripping movie. It's such an emotional movie, which I'm going to sit down with and watch with my partner. Um, and another thing is, not only just want to see more Black Panther, but I really want to see Namor again. I want to watch all those scenes with Namor, both when he's attacking Wakanda and just those small parts when he's talking to Shiri, talking to his people. So I'm really looking forward to that. So 20th of January, Black Panther, Forever fans, you're in for a treat. Still speaking about Marvel, so as we all predicted, pretty much everyone predicted this, and you're going to know probably going to talk about in the past news, is that Dave Bautista has gone and recently interviewed and said Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be his last time as Drax the Destroyer. Apparently, he doesn't want that to be his legacy, and he wants to do more serious films. And I think to myself, I'm like, dude, I understand you don't want it to be a legacy, but like, I understand you can still do the other things and still be Drax. It doesn't typecast you, and you should be happy. Everyone loves Drax. Everything done. Yes, you could be more of a destroyer. There's an argument there, but if he wants to go move on, that's fine. You gotta remember, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was 2014. 20, yeah, I want to say 2014, roughly about there's when Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one came out. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I know. Avengers was actually yeah. Oh, we're out there in 2014 with Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's been playing this role for nearly about 8 to 9 years now. So it is understandable he does want to move on. I know he did very well get a lot of praise for his role in Glass Onion, which I still need to watch. But I understand why he's leaving. And this kind of adds into that little theory that I was talking about last week was we know this is the last time we will see the team together, but we don't know who's going to live, who's going to die. The whole rumor is it could be Drax. The whole rumor is it could be Rocket, or it's going to be Peter. It's somebody, but we do know someone's going to die. So, and because the wonderful trailer thanks to James Gunn, we can't tell who's what because everyone looks like they're in a dire situation. So, yes, for anyone who's a Drax fan for Dave Bautista, you're definitely going to have to tune in for Guardians of the Galaxy because this will be the last time he will be appearing in this role. Including, speaking of done with roles and returning to roles, so I'm probably going to butcher her name, but Frankie Jansen, she played Jean Grey in the original X-Men movies 1, 2, and 3, and she was also in the Wolverine. So if you haven't watched that, she's also the mum in Taken. There's a whole rumor going around that she will be returning for Deadpool 3 and she's going to be returning for Secret Wars. Now, if she's back, fantastic. I think she was one of the highlights of the original trilogy. She was fantastic in Jean Grey. And if she's in Secret Wars and Deadpool 3, holy fuck. That'd be just, especially if she still has all of her powers. Anything's on the table for Secret Wars. And I say this nearly every single episode, but anything is on the table. So you got to remember, which I was talking to a friend the other day, was that Secret Wars is in very much early development. So yes, anything's on the table, but the bigger question is not who is going to appear in it, is who isn't going to appear in it, which I did get an answer the other day, which I was like, ooh, that's correct, but too soon. But the question is, who isn't going to appear? Because you got to remember, Kevin Feige is going to pull every stop to get everyone in this movie. So that is the biggest question. So with Secret Wars, your wildest theories might come true. I know I sound like a Hallmark ad, but it's true. The most wildest theory might happen because you remember, we're getting Deadpool and Wolverine in the same movie with Hugh Jackman, which we all predicted could never happen. Maybe it would happen in Secret Wars, but nope, we're getting it here and now. So do not forget that. And let's moving on. is that we also saw that apparently Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Bullet Train, he was also in Godzilla, he was also in Avengers 2 as Quicksilver for that very short time, and he was basically Hawkeye's shield, which he probably could have used him when he had the snowplow as well. Maybe too soon. Apparently he met with the Bond producers about an upcoming Bond role. Now, we don't know if this was for to be Bond or if this was for to be a villain or something, but because you got to remember the next Bond film will be looking for the new Bond because Daniel Craig is done, he's dusted, close on that chapter, go get the Blu-ray 4K collection disc, but yes, that is closed. So the biggest question is going into, is he going to be Bond or be a Bond villain, which I think either way he does it, I'd be happy either because he's a fantastic actor. And all those movies I just mentioned, besides Bullet Train, because I still need to watch Bullet Train as well, he is fantastic in all of them. But keep that in mind, Aaron Taylor Johnson is currently in the running. Moving on, we also got an Evil Dead Rise trailer, which was the brand new movie, which is coming out April 21st. That is one bloody trailer, and the poster is creepy as fuck. I posted on Instagram, and I was like, "This is actually no." I did post on Instagram, but I was doing something late at night. I can't remember, and I was on social. I think it was playing PlayStation on social media, and I saw the poster. It was at night. I was like, "Shit!" I was like, "Oh, it's from." I was like, "Jesus!" So, poster's really cool. The poster's really creepy, which I think movie posters is kind of like one of those dying art forms that, where are the posters that you used to see for Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters, Jaws, those kind of types of posters. I feel like they need to bring that kind of style back, not just the floating head style that you see all the freaking time. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, Marvel do not help their credit by doing this. But moving on, we also got the first look at the Gran Turismo movie from Sony. That is coming out 11th of August this year. Now, the trailer, no, it wasn't a trailer, it was a first look. Start off with the OG sounds for Gran Turismo when you're about to take off. You saw David Harbour, saw Orlando Bloom talk about the movie. This is hot, high octane action. And Neil Blomkamp, I really butchered that. He's very excited for this. I was actually watching an interview where what drew him to the project was both the story. So the Gran Turismo movie. Now, for anyone who lives under a rock, Gran Turismo is the real driving simulator. So this came out on the PlayStation 1. There's been about 7 to 8 games based on this franchise, and basically it's the realistic driving simulator, which has been fantastic on both the tracks, the cars, the customization. It is the premier racing game. Everything else comes under this. So Sony, with both The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, Twisted Metal, they're pumping out more TV shows and movies. Now, this movie sounds very interesting because we know sometimes with car movies, they're a hit and miss. Like Fast and Furious was it's still ongoing, still going. But the Need for Speed movie was kind of half-baked and kind of shit. So, but this I feel like it's going to be very different. So the Gran Turismo movie is based on a real story of someone who's playing the game, got really good at the game, and then went on to be a real race car driver. Now, there's many people who have done that, but this is what it's based off. And that's the big thing that I'm really excited to see. And some of the shots that we got in this first look, we got in the rain, you got in a normal. I'm so excited to see what this is going to bring, and just seeing on the big screens will be awesome. So we got the first look for that. No trailer yet, but in August we will be getting it. So if anyone's a PlayStation fan and all the exclusive, They're all coming out. Movies, TV shows, they're all pumping out. Another thing is moving on, speaking about obviously keeping on movies, Avatar wins the box office for 2023. Avatar 2 has overtaken Top Gun as the premier highest grossing movie of 2023, which surprisingly, look, I could take the fact that Avatar beat Black Panther, which it shouldn't have. But I'm totally surprised it overtook Top Gun because that just kept making money. It just kept making money more and more and more. I was very surprised Avatar overtook that. I'm sure Tom Cruise is not happy and he's already finding a way of what extreme stunt he can do that will make more money. But yes, Avatar 2 is the highest grossing movie, which James Gunn has gone on the fact that because it became the highest grossing and hit margin, he will be making 3 and 4 for the next 6 to 7 years, which the gaps aren't going to be as big. I think it's in 2 years, which could Avatar 3, which is about 5 people. I still love how he's like, oh, this all came to me, completely original idea. I did not watch Avatar: The Last Airbender at all. I don't know what that is. Why? Is that very similar? Yeah, we all know what you. Yeah, we know James Cameron. We know where you get the idea from. Curious enough, I thought was really interesting. Was Edward Norton turned down a role in Avatar 2 because he didn't want to play a human. He wanted to play on a Na'vi. So I thought that was interesting. You want to play one of the premier characters? That's fair enough. But yeah, so Edward Norton was up for a role. I'm curious to know what role that was going to be. Anyway, yes, for everyone. So Zach from the Nerd Dose podcast, Avatar wins 2022, but it will not win 2023, which is the biggest question of what movie is going to win 2023 at the box office. That's the billion-dollar question. Which Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think very much could be at the very top there. And for anyone who's a Batman fan, Colin Farrell already plays the Penguin. He's going on record so the spin-off show with the Penguin that starts shooting in Feb, so we probably won't see that until 2024. God, I know it's not long, but it feels ages since the Batman came out, and there's still no confirmation about the Batman 2. But James Gunn has mentioned the fact that in the next month or two, we are meant to get his big plan. And that's going to be something that we will cover here. But yes, we will get his big plan over the next month or two from James Gunn of the 10-year plan for the DC shitty reboot crap universe at this stage. And my last little tidbit of news, which I was really happy about, which I know there was rumblings that this might not happen because the production company sold out and went to Amazon, but that's not happening. Netflix series Wednesday has confirmed season 2 will be happening. No date at this stage. I predict it will most likely be 2024 before we get season 2. But yes, they have confirmed it now. I know a lot of people think, of course, they're going to make season 2. Netflix is sometimes, you can't always guarantee that. With Netflix is what shows will, this will guarantee. How many times have we seen a great show from Netflix and go, they're going to get season 2, and then boom, it's cancelled. Or boom, that's it. So there was no full, even the people who made Wednesday even went on record saying in a very early interview saying the fact they have got a plot if it's confirmed season 2. If not, they understand and they keep that door open. However, I think if they're going to cancel, if Netflix weren't going to do season 2, I feel like someone would have stepped in and picked up, like what they did with Lucifer. Fox didn't want it, so Netflix picked it up, and look how many more seasons, how much more money it would make. I know some would have picked up Wednesday, probably Amazon, but don't worry, guys. Season 2 will be ahead, but I would predict you will not see anything for that until 2024. Now, that's all the biggest news that's happened the past week. Now, let's move over to the review, which was kind of Nic Cage-centric, to be honest. So first thing, happy birthday to Nic Cage for January 7th. So happy birthday, sir. 59. He also went on an interview recently that he will not be returning in the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse 2 and 3. Oh, sorry, part 1 and part 2. He said he has been contacted from Sony. No one's mentioned to come back. So unfortunately, which I'm surprised because Spider-Man No War, no what, no where. No war. No war. It's like when you say a word to me. Noah, Noir. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, they've gone on the fact that apparently he will not be returning for the character, which I feel like that's a surprise because he was one of the better characters. I really like Spider. I just like the fact of him grabbing the Rubik's cube, couldn't figure it out. Like, what's this? What's that? So I'm totally surprised that he's not coming up and not coming back, which I thought he would. But unfortunately, Nic Cage is not coming, which could be a completely drift spoiler. But judging the way he did in the interview, I don't think he's going to be coming back at all, which is very surprising. But there's how many other Spider-Man's going to be in this? How many other more characters? So you had to trim the fat somewhere. So unfortunately, it might be Nic Cage. But still speaking of Nic Cage, we got our first trailer for Renfield with both him and Nicholas Hoult. Now, this is the thing, so where we saw leak photos of this a few months ago, but this is the first trailer where Nic Cage is playing Dracula. Yes, you heard me correctly. He is playing Dracula in this particular movie, which he looks menacing in this trailer, and he looks fantastic. So Renfield is the main character, which is Nicholas Holt's character, which basically it plays Dracula's devoted, very similar like Frankenstein and Lurch. I can't remember the character's name, where he'll do anything for him. He's his servant, has to bring bodies, has to bring victims so he can eat and all this. And the best thing, what I really liked about this trailer was that he's at a self-help group and they all talk about work and all these people think he's just talking about work, but he's actually talking about Dracula. And the best thing is that Nic Cage knocks on the door and someone says, "Oh, come in," which in the vampire lore that apparently a vampire can't walk into your house unless you invite them in, and that's it. So he freaks out. We get Dracula, Nic Cage about to eat all these people and take them all down. But it looks cool. It's interesting these roles that Nicholas Hoult does pick up because when I watch this, it's like I always remember the fact he plays Beast in the new X-Men movies, Days of Future Past, First Class, Apocalypse, Phoenix. He plays Beast. But it's also interesting to see him playing this because Body Hearts or Warm Hearts. I can't remember the movie he does play, but he plays as a zombie and basically falls in love with this bird and this girl, and he starts turning back to normal, which you find out that love is the reason why these zombies can get back to normal, which turns into a whole plot because, as you can imagine, no one believe her, and you shouldn't be doing this because it's a zombie. But this is what kind of made me think of this movie. So it looks really cool. I definitely has me curious because I remember seeing the photos of seeing Nic Cage in the photo behind the scenes photos as Dracula, and I thought, oh my god, what is this guy doing? Because we were like, for anyone who really doesn't know, which I'm very surprised, Nic Cage has been over about 100 different movies. He's both been a 90s action star, an early 2000s action star. He's left Hollywood to go do smaller films. He's currently kind of in a career resurgence. He's been married 5 times. He's also, I think, got some gambling problems as well. And he has his own acting style, which he adapted, which is also weird. He is such an interesting character, to say the least. And the biggest admission from his filmography which I would have loved to see, is that turn the clocks back to Batman. First Batman with Michael Keaton. Tim Burton directed Batman 1 and Batman 2. And after Batman 2, Warner Bros. Didn't want to do Batman 3 because they were like, oh, it's too dark, blah, 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 blah. Kids, we don't want to do that anymore, which we got the Schumacher series, or is he like, oh, okay, if that's what you've chosen, if that's what you want to go for, that's fine. So he was going to play. So Tim Burton went to go make. He was going to make a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage. So this, I know that's probably a bit hard for people right now. Going really him. Go if you go back. This is in the late 80s, early 90s, and this is when he was ripped. This was when you're looking. If it does help, you're looking at Con Air Nic Cage, roughly about there, or The Rock. Nic Cage, that's what he would have been for this movie. You can go on. There has been videos behind the scenes of what this is going to be. There's a movie about the production. There's also someone made an animated movie of what plot tales they had. So Tim Burton was going to just blow the door open with this. He was going to blow the door open. So instead of you getting your traditional Superman movie on Earth, he was going to go into space, fight some aliens. Like, honestly, go check it out. There is some wild drawing boards, storyboards, concept arts of what was in Tim Burton's mind for this. Now, unfortunately, there was creative differences there, and Warner Brothers didn't want to go with the project, and it never saw the light of day and ended. So Nic Cage is also a really big comic book fan. He loves comics, which is why he played Ghost Rider, which he was fantastic in Ghost Rider, both 1 and 2. So there's a rumor that Nic Cage is going to be coming in Ghost Rider in Secret Wars. I love that first Ghost Rider movie, definitely early 2000s. But yeah, so that was what he was going to be. He was going to play Superman with long hair. They were going to keep the long hair, and he was going to have this really interesting suit. So definitely, he was going to have the black suit and a normal suit. Yeah, honestly, go check it out. It is wild what this movie was going to be. But yes, that's a little bit history of Nic Cage, and he's going to be playing Dracula. And honestly, I think he's played nearly everything. He's played a wizard. He's played Dracula. He's played everything on the sun. And that brings me to the movie that we're going to be reviewing for what he played in this movie. So he's played all these different characters, and he's gone on to go play himself. Yes. So this movie, The Unbearable Weight of Mass Talent, is like a biography about him, about his life, and he plays himself. And what this is going to be. So he not only plays himself and what he's going to be, but he also plays another version of him from the 90s in the movie as well. That's the concept, so keep that in mind. So what happens is that he's at a point in his career where he's struggling a bit. He's struggling with his family. He's struggling with his daughter, trying to connection because, you know, it's Nic Cage's world. It's all about Nic Cage. And that's what it's all about. Neil Patrick Harris plays his agent. So this movie was made on a budget of $30 million. Its box office was $29 million. And also Pedro Pascal also appears in the movie as well. So he finds out the fact that he tries to go for a role, he doesn't get the role, it's declined, but he did get this offer to go to this person's house and as a visit for over $1 million. He says yes because he needs it, because he owes all this debt at this hotel. So he's like, all right, I'll go. Which the person is Pedro Pascal's character, who you find out as the movie progresses, he's a huge Nicolas Cage fan, has props, has statues, has the guns from Face Off, all this memorabilia. He's a big fan, and he wants Nic Cage to star in a screenplay that he wrote. He never got the screenplay, but he starts going, all right, let's go and make our own movie. And then obviously, because he's in Mexico, so one of the best things about this movie, I will say right now, is the landscape shots and the locations in this movie are stunning. This movie, if it does anything for you, it's going to make you want to travel. Some of the locations of this movie are gorgeous. I'm just looking, going, God, I wish I was a billionaire. God damn, I wish I was a billionaire to stay in places like this. But it's beautiful to look at. And as I go back to the story, the CIA also catches on to him because they want to know what he's doing there, and they want to track Pedro Pascal because he's apparently a drug lord. He's also apparently, he says that he's a killer. He's stolen a daughter. So we also get in this movie some flashbacks and movies from both Con Air, Face Off, a few others. It's definitely, obviously, Nic Cage centric. And then also at the same time, in this movie is that Nick Cage is also has like an inner voice of a young Nic Cage from the 90s. The digital de-aging is fantastic. It looks great. The younger version of Nic Cage is definitely pure Nic Cage. But the strangest thing about this movie is that he kisses himself. Yes, as I said it, yes, he kisses himself. He kisses his imaginary version of himself in the 90s. Yeah, I didn't. As I wrote down this in my review, I did not know how else to write that, but yes. If you want to see Nic Cage on Nic Cage, you will definitely see it in this movie. But as the story progresses, spoilers, as you all know, is a movie as it progresses. There's a really cool plot twist in it where Pedro Pascal actually isn't the head of it. His cousin is. Cousin wants to kill him and Nic Cage. Nic Cage need to kill Pedro Pascal character, which they don't want to because he's his best friend now because of everything he found out, how much he loves him and how much he's a big fan, wants to make this movie. So that turns into a massive firefight with his family, some great acting, pure Nic Cage on display, especially from the whole family. And Pedro Pascal does a fantastic job as both. For half, good like 3/4 of the movie, you don't know if he really is the bad guy or is it a great or just a big fan, which he plays off really well. So that's fantastic. So I give him all props for that. And as you're looking over, you're looking and going, oh, okay, who's it going to be? And as the story progresses, firefight, action, family in trouble, kidnapping, all you would expect in a movie like this. And it turns out at the end, the movie that they do make together is the movie that's based on this. Big applause, fantastic. Nic Cage is back in the game. And that's essentially the plot in it. But it's a great way of showing of his life, especially of his debts, especially everything else in between, and showing the fact that what his life is. So I can only imagine what he thought of when he got this script and went, sold, I'm in, done. I am going to do this definitely, and he 100% nailed it out of the park. And I can see. So the reason why I did watch this was not only because it was Nic Cage's birthday, not only because of the fact it's Renfield, but I got recommended from a friend because he puts on a great performance, which he really does fantastically. And I can see why he gets so much praise for this, because he got so much praise for another movie he did got released. I think it was 2022 or 2021. I think it's 2020, called Pig. And he does a fantastic performance in that. And it's yeah. So this is why I mean he's kind of career resurgence at this stage, where everybody loves him. And he's pumping out great performances, because he's fantastic. And I want to say thank you to everyone popping by. In one go. Everyone just popping by to say hello. So thank you very much. But this movie, if you're a Nic Cage fan, I highly recommend it. I did find it towards the end, the last kind of stop, and I was kind of watching going, oh, okay, this movie could kind of wrap up. I don't know if I'll go, it's a good movie, but it's not a movie I'll go, oh, let's check that on. Let's go rewatch it again. It was such a good time. Like, no, if I was showing someone and going, oh, you want a good Nic Cage movie, watch this. But that's also going down from Con Air, Face Off, Ghost Rider, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, or I think it's Raising Arizona. Like it's kind of down, and then Pig's in there as well. But that's kind of where it is at the moment. So definitely go check it out if you want. Definitely, if you're a Nic Cage fan, you will not be disappointed. So that's our review for the unbearable weight of a massive talent. I got it this time. I nearly stuffed it. I got it this time. And look, I want to say thank you very much for everyone tuning in for this episode, and everyone popping by, both listening to us and watching us. And just to wrap us off, please go check out our website. Let me know what you think. And until next time, guys, happy ranting.